Pachyderm Labs, from Pachyderm Consulting.
Hi everyone, Christina from Pachyderm. I'm about to give you my review of as a completely unqualified music expert. So, headphones are a necessary part of my daily commute for a few reasons. Number one, I love music. It is my primary form of entertainment. Two, on horrible winter days, you can combine the functionality of both ear muffs and headphones into one unit. Perfect for protecting you from the elements and creating awesome soundscapes out of otherwise miserable winter days. Last but not least, it helps turn situations like this.
You're reading the book?
Yeah, I'm reading a book.
Is that the book where the man and the lady meet on a train and then they go somewhere for a rendezvous? You know what I mean?
Into situations like this. So, when my husband unadmittedly stole my previous pair of over-ear headphones, I decided to purchase the UrbanEars. Now, just for background, I've been wearing headphones since way back, but recently, for the warmer months, I've been wearing the also UrbanEars. They perform pretty well for in-ear headphones and are practical as far as in-ear headphones go. So, based on that experience, I decided to try something else by UrbanEars. Prior to that, for the past 5 or 6 years, I've been wearing the Bose noise-canceling headphones. Now, some of my friends who are real audiophiles criticize Bose for being too bass-heavy. But I love bass. And besides, what's the alternative? Treble? But ultimately,
as long as there's that tick-tick followed by that bump.
Anyway, those Bose headphones really set the bar for me. So let's talk about So I bought the headphones in black, which is great for me because they match my basically black and white winter gear. But there are lots of other colors to choose from, which is an important feature to me. Hopefully it's important to some of you. A lot of the colors are much cooler than black. Anyway, these headphones claim to fold down for maximum mobility. But let me show you a little bit how that works. So here's the headphone, and here's how they fold down. 1, 2. So this is supposed to be maximum mobility. Maybe I can wrap up the wire a little bit. But practically speaking, let's see how that is implemented. Are they maximally mobile now? I really can't even put these headphones into my bag because my bag is black, the headphones are black. They'll eventually disappear into the blackness and be completely destroyed. The one thing I will say is that a case would really be beneficial in this situation. But for $60, maybe I shouldn't complain. So, presumably, of utmost importance in a pair of headphones is the sound quality. Now, I listen to a lot of music and a lot of different kinds of music. A lot of it is of low production value. But if we want to accurately gauge sound quality, we have to put these headphones to the test by starting with a classic and high production value.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, using the tick-tick-bump guidelines prescribed by Outkast, we're going to judge music from this point forward, or how it sounds in the headphones. So let me define for you what I think is meant by tick-tick-bump. Tick, I think, is something that is largely on the treble side. It can also be that sound that's created by a drumstick on the metal side of a drum, or a synthetic version of that. And bump is really something that is very bass heavy. So using this, let's talk about Dr. Dre's album. So first up, the sound quality is mushy at best. Dr. Dre, who I think normally is pretty good at enunciating so that we can be sure to hear his rhyme scheme, sounds like he has mush mouth. Those classic funk sounds that we just heard really just bleeds into each other. It doesn't sound like distinct musical notes. And finally, the bass comes across strong, but it sounds as though the speakers have been blown. It comes across as somewhat twangy. So my theory, again as a completely unqualified music expert, is that maybe this is subtle reverb created by the secluded sound experience. I don't have the same experience with my in-ear UrbanEars headphones. Anyway, you might want to think twice about playing something bass-heavy in these headphones.
Yeah, heavy bass hitting from heavyweighters.
And due to the reverb quality, this also means nothing with high distortion. And nothing with those lovely reverb horns that we hear in music like Miles Davis or some classic dub tracks.
You know, social living is the best. You know, social living is the best.
So let's get back to the funk. Now check out this track from none other than Funkadelic. Now it's pretty low on the bass or bump aspect, but those high notes created by what I can only imagine is a synthesizer, those sort of watery sounding cymbals, those will pierce right through your eardrums. So it looks like now we've eliminated music with a sort of high tick value, something that leans more towards the treble side. Another example of an artist or artists that are leaning high towards the treble side is Young Marble Giants. Don't listen to them in these headphones. So far, we've concluded that music with high tick or bump factor won't work too well in these headphones. So what are we left with? Well, we can look at music that is really vocal-centric. How about some Etta James? Whoa, Etta, are you known for singing or yelling? This is one of the best live albums ever recorded, but I fear I can't listen to it in these headphones. Now, what about David Bowie?
Oh, you pretty things. Don't you know you're driving your driving insane?
Sounds a little bit like he's behind some sort of sound veil. Now, granted, Bowie got into some pretty lo-fi production, but this stuff is really meant to be played loud. You can't do that in these headphones. So, what sounds good? We're starting to narrow it down. We've got low tick, low bump, and now it appears that we have to have relatively even sound levels. Let's give that a test.
It's okay. We all seen better days.
Dead moon, not gonna happen. That means, hate to say it, we can only listen to high fidelity tracks. So that means Elvis Costello, Talking Heads, and maybe some ambient Brian Eno tracks. But you know what that sounds like? That sounds like a diet lacking in. But will I keep using these headphones? Of course. They still expertly aided in situations like this. situations like this.
But that book, we could be writing that book.
And finally, they perfectly match my scarf, all for $60.